Woke up this morning, the sun in my eye. No stress, just glad to be alive. Wash my face.
Hi guys, so welcome back to my O Canada podcast. This is episode 2, and in episode 2 I'm going to give you the scoop about how I came to Canada, step by step process of how I came to Canada and how you can come to Canada too, coming as an international student.
Woke up this morning, the sun in my eye. No stress, just glad to be alive. Wash my face, step out, take a dive. It's a brand new day, I'm grateful.
That's right.
I'm checking my pages. Got time for no haters.
No hate.
So if you can remember, or if you had watched episode 1 of the podcast, I gave you a rundown of the different ways in which you can come to Canada. And I had indicated that coming as an international student is one of the better ways of coming. So I also mentioned that that's how I came to Canada. And I just wanted to give you the details, the scoop. Girl, gotta share the information. I know a lot of people out there want to know. And I want to let you know also this is something you can do by yourself. And this is one of the reasons, this is one of the main reasons why I'm doing this podcast, is to share this information so people know that you don't have to go to an immigration consultant or a lawyer, or it's not a far-fetched or a process that is unachievable or is something that you cannot do. You can actually sit down on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer or whatever and do it. So remember, it's pengy, and just remember to like, subscribe, and all those nice things. Okay, so I'm going to get straight into it. So what I did when I decided to come to Canada, and I researched the different avenues and I decided to choose the school method, the first thing I did was to start researching schools. Okay. If it is that coming to Canada as a student, as an international student, can be very costly. So what I would recommend, there are people who say, for example, you finish high school, or you had finished college, or you have even finished university, and you want to go back to school. I would recommend or encourage you to just take a program that is about 1 to 2 years. Okay? A lot of people want to go back to do a degree. And mark you, having a degree in Canada is the better way to go, because sometimes Canada don't really accept international accreditation. Okay, some employers and all of that, when you present an international degree or so, you might not be the first candidate to be selected for a job, for example. So having a Canadian degree is the ultimate. However, coming as an international student can be very costly, and because of that, I normally recommend you look for courses or programs that runs between 1 to 2 years. And for people who already have an undergrad or a degree, you can actually look for what are called postgraduate programs. Okay, so you go on the colleges and the universities' websites. I'm gonna put some names of colleges and universities in the details of this blog, so you can actually research these colleges. But for persons who want to do the degree programs, for example, or you want to go to university, you can go to the University of Toronto, or look at the website for the University of Toronto. There's also York University. There's 2 top universities in Ontario. Okay, and Ontario is a province or a state in Canada. Okay, and that's the province in which I am located. There are other universities and colleges all over, but based on the fact that I'm located in Ontario and in Toronto, which is the most populous city in Canada, I'm giving you the names of colleges and university, or I will give you some names of colleges and universities that you can research. Now, you have to make sure that the college or the university that you choose to attend is a publicly funded university or college, and not a private college or university. Okay, so make sure it is a publicly funded institution, and make sure it has a special number. So Immigration Canada basically assign a special number to colleges and universities that you can actually apply to as international student, and these colleges and universities you actually get a work permit after you finish in study. Mark you can go to any college or university, but you want to make sure that the one you're choosing is the one that actually has the special permission from Immigration Canada for international students to attend and get a work permit after. And they have a special designated learning institution number that is assigned to them. So when you're researching, make sure you look for that. I will drop the details in the links in the details of this video. Okay. Yes, so make sure it is a publicly funded institution. Make sure you are choosing a program that is 1 to 2 years. Now, you can choose a program that is for 1 year because, yes, you just want to pay 1 year tuition. Most people just want to get over school. You just want to attend school, get a work permit after, and start the process of immigrating to Canada and all of that, right? But the reason why I'm saying choose a program that is 1 to 2 years is after you complete school, you get what is called a post-graduation work permit. And this is a permit you're going to use to work in order to gain the work experience in Canada that you need to apply for permanent residence. Now, if you go to school for 1 year, or if you apply for a 1 year program, say a 1 year degree, diploma, or a 1 year certificate or so, you only get a 1 year postgraduate work permit. If it is that you only get a 1 year postgraduate work permit and you need 1 year Canadian work experience in order to be qualified or to be eligible to apply for permanent resident, you're going to be in trouble. Because it's not a guarantee that as soon as you get that 1 year work permit, you will land yourself a job. It's a possibility that you may take a month, 2 months, 3 months, even 6 months to get a job. So you want to make sure that you choose a program to attend school that is up to 2 years so that you can get 2 to 3 years postgraduate work permit. So after you have, whenever you apply for a 2 year program at school, you get up to 3 years postgraduate work permit, 2 to 3 years. And that will give you enough time after you have graduated from college or university and apply for your postgraduate work permit. It will give you enough time to find a job and work 1 year and then apply for your permanent resident status. Okay, so I recommend you apply for a program that is at least a year and 6 months or 2 years. Okay, just to give yourself time. Okay, after you apply to the college or university and you get accepted, this acceptance letter is what you will use along with other documents to apply to Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, for your study visa. Okay? Now, applying to the school, as I said, I will give you a list of schools that you can actually check out. The schools have different requirements and it depends on the program that you want to do. Okay, so say for example you want to do a program in human resource management. For example, you want to do a postgraduate program in human resource management, and you find a college or a university, you research it, you find the program, you apply to them. You can just, some of them may ask you for credentials like your copy of your university or college diploma and your transcript and all of those things. You send those, or you have your institution in your home country, send your transcript over to them. You may have to pay a fee, an application fee that you can use your credit or debit card to pay. There is also what is called OCAS, which is Ontario Colleges, for persons who want to apply to colleges. You can actually go on the OCAS website and you can pay one fee and apply for up to 5 programs. Okay, so that is more, economical and or cost effective, where you don't have to pay individual fee to individual colleges, but you can pay one fee and you have the option to apply for 5 different programs, and the 5 different programs can be from different universities or colleges. Okay, after you are successful in applying to college or university and you get that acceptance letter, you will need that acceptance letter along with your passport for sure. You can't travel without your passport, so you have to ensure that you have a valid passport which is not expired. You will need to complete application forms, and all of these forms would be on the Canada website. You complete your application forms. You will need to do what is called a biometric, but the biometric is done after you apply to Immigration Canada and they send you a follow-up email to say you can go to do your biometrics. Okay. You also have to do, for some schools, for some applicants, you may also have to do what is called a police record or a police check, or police reference check, depending on what it is in your country. And you may also have to do a medical. In most cases, the medical is dependent on which program you're going to apply, which course you're applying for, or which program. If it's in the healthcare field, for example, if it's like nursing, you definitely will need to do a medical. So these are some of the things you will need, or just bear in mind that you will need your police record, your medical, completed application form, your passport, and your acceptance letter from the college and university. And the other main thing that you will need is proof of funds. Okay, now that can be a difficult process for some people. That can be the tricky part. A lot of people want to immigrate to various countries. A lot of people want to immigrate to Canada. A lot of people might even have already researched about coming to Canada for school or all of that. But then the money part, yeah, the money part. That's the part that is normally, a drawback or a setback for some people. Because for Canada, when you're applying for that study visa, you need to show tuition fee for at least minimum 1 year and living expenses for 1 year minimum. Okay. Now, tuition fee for international students, on average, $14,000 to $16,000 per semester. So you're looking at like $33,000 for the year that you need to show in your bank account or your bank statement or whatever, for tuition. And you also need to show approximately 10,000 Canadian dollars for 1 year living expense. Or they normally work it out at $833 per month, right? So you need to show 1 year tuition and 1 year living expense. If it is that you don't have all of this money in your bank account and you have a family member or a friend or an institution or so who is willing to sponsor you to send you to school, then they can actually show that money for you in their bank account and they can actually write a sponsorship letter. So this is something that a lot of people don't know, and it's something I want to bring to your attention. You don't have to have all of that money for yourself in your bank account. You can get a sponsor. Okay, for persons who attend church, if your church is interested in sponsoring you to go to college or university in Canada, they could actually show the money for you and they write a sponsorship letter. If you have a family member or a friend, they can. And you can have more than one sponsor. So you can have two sponsors. So you have a cousin, an uncle, an aunt. You're working with an organization and the organization is willing to do it for you. As long as they have that money to show and they write that letter, advising that they are willing to sponsor you, then that can also be used, right? So I'm sure that is a sigh of relief for a lot of people, because a lot of people might not be able to find the money. But if they have if you have someone here in Canada, a lot of people don't know that, or even in the US or even in England. So the person doesn't even have to be, or the institution doesn't even have to be in your country. If you have a family member or a friend or a relative or so in another country who has the resources, who have the finances, and who is willing to show that money for you and write the letter confirming that they're willing to pay that money for you to go to school, then that can be used as your proof of finances. All right? So that's something you learned today for persons who did not know. Okay? So after you submit all of those documents, and all of that can be done online, you scan and upload all those documents. As a matter of fact, when you go on the IRCC website and you do the application, they give you a list of all the documents that you would need to scan and upload if you're going to do it online. And after you've scanned and upload all the required documents, then you go to pay the application fee, and then you get your confirmation that you've successfully applied, and then you wait on them to actually send you another follow-up email requesting any additional documents they may need. Most times they will need the biometrics. So they will give you a letter for you to go to a visa application center in your country to do your biometrics. And the biometric is basically where you do your fingerprint. Yeah. Thumbs, index. Yeah. That. And you take pictures. Yeah. Scan your eyes. All that nice things. All right. So that is what's called a biometric. So then after you go in and do your biometrics, then you wait on them to respond. Prior to COVID, the wait period was pretty quick. Like I remember when I applied, it took about 2 to 4 weeks for them to get back to me to say, hey, a decision has been made on your application, and we need your passport in order to finalize the application process. Because normally that's what they say to you. They don't say, "Oh, your application has been successful," or you've got the study permit. They normally tell you that a decision has been made on your application, and they need your passport. This is when you send your passport. Because when you're applying, you don't send in your actual passport, you just send a copy of the biodata page of your passport, which is the page that has your name and your picture and all of that. And you would send in pages that have like visas and stamps to show that you have traveled before and all of that. But then when they make the decision on your application for the study permit, they ask you to send in your passport, and you put that passport in a special envelope and you send it to them. And after they put your study visa, they send it back to you, and ta-da! You get your study visa and you're ready to come to Canada. Okay, now, yes, coming to Canada. For somebody who don't have a family member or friend here, they don't know where to stay, how am I going to survive and all of that. The colleges and university, they normally give you information as to where you can actually go to, where you can actually find like room and board. You can actually, for who can rent an apartment, rent a house, for who you can board with a friend, like 2 people can share a room. You can stay on the dorm of the university. There are various options that is available on the website. I can also put some details in the link, a link for you to check that out also, to see the cost of rent and living and stuff like that. And then after you get here and you attend school and you have successfully completed your 2 years program, for example, then you apply for a postgraduate work permit. After you apply for the postgraduate work permit, that is where you can work. Now, while you're studying, you can work, but you can only work part-time, like 20 to 25 hours on your work permit. So you make sure you have enough money to take care of you while you're here, because part-time work in Canada doesn't really give you much to take care of you. And then you get your postgrad work permit, and you can work full-time, gain your 1-year work experience, then you apply for permanent residence. And when you apply for a permanent resident, then you're good. And that's what I did. All right. So guys, yeah, that was basically it. So that was just a roundup of what I did, how I got here, and the process basically to apply for studying, to come to Canada as a student. As I said, I will drop some links in my in this video so you can actually do your research. Feel free to shout out to me on YouTube in the chat. Shout out to me on Instagram, it's Pengy. Shout out to me on TikTok, it's Pengy. Shout out to me on YouTube, it's Pengy. I am open to provide any information that I can possibly provide, and I can provide you the websites. Just letting you know, I am not a representative of IRCC. I'm not an immigration consultant. The information I'm giving you is basically just based on my experience, based on experiences of friends and families that I've encountered, based on information I've read, and based on my process that I've been through. All right. So thanks guys for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, hit me up. It's Pengy, and I'll provide more information that I can provide for you. All right. See you later. Bye.
Woke up this morning, the sun in my eye. No stress, just glad to be alive. Wash my face.